Okay, welcome to our next session of Mystara in our Level Up Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign. We are up to session number 120 of 272, or it is Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 12.
Wow.
And the date is currently the 23rd of the 4th month, 1011. Players today we have is at the table Ariadna.
Actually, Calrix, the white dragon, mostly with jazz wings. And her companion Eep, a tiny creature of the Fey Dark we have since discovered, whose most frequent phrase is death to the infidel, said in a cute tiny voice.
Oh, by gum!
Or by gone. They can mean both good and bad things. You can never tell which one. But hopefully a scene incoming once play starts will help you understand a little bit more about her.
And next at the table we have today is Gary.
Hi, I'm playing Anton, a Treladaran warlock, who's dealing with the fact that he has learned through bitter experience recently that he's very good at killing things, but not much good at anything else, and particularly has failed at trying to free slaves, which supposedly is something he would like to do.
So now he does have a Wand of Fear, a Staff of Charming, and some other things.
Dressel's done something strange to my items, and now suddenly the Iron Fang is this huge
pole
hammer I'm carrying. So when I fondle it, it's a bit more obvious than before when I fondled Iron Fang. But
I know this is meant totally innocently, but the phrase "excuse me while I fondle my wand."
It's not something. It's just that at times, like
that
looking comes into my eyes as I think about toppling towers and structures of tyranny.
It really does bring in its hammer time into the.
I need to get my mind out
But
of the gun.
I'm not sure why Dressel's done it, but now it's really good at knocking down walls. So
It now literally achieves the outcome you wanted.
Okay.
You wanted to be able to bring things down. You can bring things down more than most people.
I just dreamed of it. I'm not sure I wanted it.
Well, he does have detect thoughts, so maybe he's been listening to your dreams.
Okay. What else have you picked up, Dressel?
He really tells people because then, well...
Okay.
He can't remember if he hasn't actually heard it yet or he heard it previously.
Well, I've already established that there are no secrets from you, Dressel. You know stuff about me I didn't think anybody else knew, and sometimes I didn't know myself.
Something the whole group should keep in mind is that there's another dragon in the group that can also detect thoughts.
Yep. And there's also
I also have to detect thoughts, but I don't use it though. Because I think there's privacy in thought.
And the group does have a murder hobo willing to kill everything.
No, I take it back. I do not have detect thoughts.
The only reason it doesn't is it's never been told to kill anything except once.
Okay. We're talking about Eve?
Yep.
Oh yeah, everyone knows we're talking about Eve.
Okay.
Eve has a lot of desire to kill things, but only does so at request.
Okay.
She's treated very well as a result of.
And Anton is accompanied by Proshka, and Proshka does not desire to kill things. Proshka just likes to listen in on gossip, and has acquired a set of interesting cards, playing cards. Not very good with playing cards, but they're interesting playing cards.
But they do tell futures.
They do tell futures.
And if he had detect thoughts, he would use it.
Yeah, he would actually. He would not. He would not. He would have no compunction about that.
And since then, Anton has learned that he can literally draw cards from it with power at great risk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of this risk hanging around.
Everything with power has risk.
I know.
You never seek power for the case of power.
The problem is, as Anton keeps bitterly discovering, is that you can have a lot of power, but it can be the wrong sort of power, or not enough.
Is Proska got a deck of many things?
Yes.
I don't know where he got it from. I blame Well, my immediate thought is to blame Drazzle. I shouldn't blame Drazzle.
Actually, he didn't get it from Drazzle. He got it from me.
And,
Okay, Eep. Eep, you gave... Okay, all right.
And Calcrix has had her cards read.
And in return, Proska gave Eep something.
Okay, now that worries me.
I need to find out what that is.
Online today, we have Ross.
Yes, I play the lovable swashbuckling halfling Yodri, who's also a warlock of the Lady Below, and has just found out that he's actually got a annoying little curse with him. He's now carrying a trident, which he hardly ever uses.
Yes, bud.
So do I go my precious every time with my trident?
Well, let me have a look at it. Because it's not fully detailed yet because I haven't gotten to it.
Yeah.
But it will most likely have something relating to it.
Curse of greed.
It's not the my precious. You have the statement, I demand and deserve the largest share of the spoils, and I refuse to part with anything that's mine.
That's the trident?
That's the trident. That's what the trident has given him.
Yeah, so I've now become a dick.
How do we take that trident off you?
Oh, it sounds like greed, actually, rather than anything else.
That is the crushing wave symbol.
Oh, I see.
So whoever carries it and becomes the champion of the crushing wave has that fatal flaw.
And it's, I demand my share, basically?
No, he demands the biggest share, not his share.
Oh, right.
He demands the biggest share.
Good luck. Eat that trident. If the demands get
Well,
unreasonable.
just because he demands it doesn't mean he gets it. He has to demand it though. It's much like Anton has the desire to break things. Just because he has the desire to break things and may voice it doesn't mean he has to actually do it.
And I was joking.
There will be times when I'll be sorely tempted.
Same. Just because Eve has the desire to eat the trident doesn't mean Calvert will let her.
Yep. And next up we have Mark.
I'm playing the Great Bradshaw, who just got introduced to the party last session. Learning that I can actually do range attacks occasionally. It's the first time Bradshaw's done that in over probably 40 sessions.
With a short bow, nonetheless.
No, with a heavy crossbow.
Oh, it's a heavy crossbow?
It's a heavy crossbow because it has two big rocks on a short bow that yells curses.
Oh, I see.
Because he wanted a magic heavy crossbow.
No, I know the story about how he got a bow. I just didn't realise that he was with that bow.
Look, this is why I would never go buy anything in any man's games to a vendor anymore. So, okay.
Well, you went to a magic store, not to a normal weapon shop to buy a heavy crossbow.
Still don't trust you, man, by the way, just put it out there. Okay.
So is your bow always upset and annoyed?
Yes.
It's always
Yes, it can't chop. So that's why I haven't used it a lot. So, yeah. My Warhammer's quite nice. It doesn't talk back to me. So.
Yeah.
So because you're ignoring it, you're just making it even worse.
Yeah.
No, because it could all of a sudden end up in your backpack and I don't have to forget all about it. So.
I take it your heavy crossbow is Noah's cursed items you can't get rid of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll try. Trust me.
You
But it is-
you have tried, okay.
It does have the statement, beware what you ask for in a magic shop.
Okay.
Because you may get exactly what you ask for, not what you intended to get.
Yeah. That's why I don't go to any sort of magic shop anymore. Purely blacksmiths. Yeah.
Blacksmiths can be worse.
No, I've got a blacksmith in my own keep. It's okay. Yeah.
And joining us just now is M.
Hello. I play. Who am I playing today? Mystara. I am playing Zal, your ever-lovable cleric wizard.
With the biggest kill count of the party last session.
Yes.
Nuclear of shit.
Slayer of 40 slaves.
Oh, wait until Calgary enters the session.
I don't think Zal quite knows about that yet.
Isn't that more than that?
No, there was 60 slaves all up, 20 per boat, and
Oh,
2 were saved on the last boat, and it wasn't Zal who sunk the boat.
No, I thought there was 40 slaves on each boat.
Well, I could do that if you'd like, and we could then say she took out 80 slaves.
And then you've also got the crew as well.
Well, the crew went enslaved.
Yeah, but we're talking about body count here.
Well, in terms of innocence, 58 dead.
We don't know of slaves.
I think Phaeacian slaves, you can assume that they didn't want to be there.
Alright, I'm gonna wait until the game actually starts.
Yes, as far as Zal and most of the other party usually is aware of with these ships, and our in-game knowledge was that they were usually manned by prisoners of is it Alfetio?
Thyatus.
Thyatus.
Thyatus, because they didn't have jails, they had the Imperial Navy, and they would basically chain anyone who had committed a crime to row their boats until their service was done.
And
But-
they have a broad definition of crime.
But they ran out of criminals during the war, so they just started enslaving anyone who looked like they were strong enough to man oars.
Wait until the game actually starts.
And so it's quite unlikely that most boats actually had slaves in them, criminals in them by the time you are at now.
Yeah. Point is this enslaved.
Mm-hmm. And Manacled had no way out when the ship went down.
Just because you're a
Yes.
criminal,
I'm fully aware of all of this.
yeah, just because you're a criminal, you might have stolen a loaf of bread and then been put on this boat, and now you've been discarded because you're a criminal.
Or they may
and
have
your life
been
is
they
not
may have
worth
been
anything.
criminal because they had Alphatian heritage.
Mhm.
They may have been criminal because they were not Thyatin descent.
Equally, they could have been a murderer. Calcrips will make her point when the game starts.
Okay, so and with the introduction, we will then move on to Josh, who has managed to make it.
I have managed to make it after a small human meltdown. Hi, I'm Josh. I play Chevelle the Paladin.
Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't, because you don't have that ability anymore.
Actually,
You're
so
worshipping another god.
the ability belongs to the item, Ross, not to the god.
Okay, so I thought you
It's-
got cursed by the god to do it. So
No,
is that
my-
items have inherited it?
Yes.
That makes it even worse.
When my chainmail breastplate became magical, that's when it became paladin.
So that's where the paladin is shining from.
Yes.
And so that's why when Chevelle does cover up in robes, it's not actually advertised.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, for clarification, are you saying you've got the word paladin across your chest on your armour?
Pretty
No,
much.
when people stare at me, they get paladin screamed in their face.
But it's most likely that's the location they're staring.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Alright, okay.
If I
Alright.
remember,
So avert the
Chevelle's
eyes from Cheval. Alright.
well endowed.
So well endowed it just screams at you.
Okay.
You basically, if you've, I think we did go through this a while ago, but you'll notice that most of the party normally don't directly look at the paladin when they do. They always wince.
I'm afraid the wings draw my attention.
Though amusingly enough, you do see that Eep is more than happy to stare at the paladin for hours on end.
That's because Eep's a pervert.
Eve is not a pervert. She's never been one.
He
She's
probably
just
just admires the
hungry.
wings. Probably just admires the wings.
Was probably enjoying having paladin screamed in its head on a regular basis.
She likes death metal.
Okay.
And probably one of the few that doesn't wince. So, who wishes to give the recap for last session?
Technically, I wasn't there.
I can have a
Boats.
I just watched.
Lots
the
of
session.
boats, lots of warfare boats.
3.
well.
Boaty McBoatface?
We started off by bringing back our prisoner
Bodhi
from
McFlame
the lodge,
You did. You did return the prisoner from the lodge.
and that's where we met up with
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. I was going to say Brad.
And-
Bradshaw.
And that also was where I believe Yodri also came into the
That's
party
right.
again.
Yodri called up to us.
Because Yodri had his time changed on him and he had disappeared from the group for a while, having gone and ventured into Norwald looking for the lost halfling nation.
Oh, okay. Did you find them, Yodri?
No,
Okay. And
I
then,
didn't go. I didn't go far enough north.
the context to this is Drazel booked us on a cruise, which when I first heard the word cruise, I was thinking, sun, sand, surf, great waves, like a leisurely cruise. But it seems the cruise that Drazel's booked us on is a raiding cruise, and we're now raiding.
Well, raiders have sun, surf, beaches. That's how you pull up to the beach.
And it's an adventure cruise as well, so there's excitement.
There is excitement, and we were at we're at some sort of temple or religious site where a sacrifice had to be made. We made a sacrifice.
Unfortunately, it was taken from you before the sacrifice was made the original time you were
The
there.
original one was
So you managed to get a substitute.
the substitute. That was the captive we brought back from.
So it was either volunteer for the sacrifice or get brutally tortured for the next month.
Yeah, and those who didn't sacrifice someone, their boats had problems when we set off again.
Yeah, so apparently they were visited by Yodri's patron.
Okay. Can you protect us from your patron, or is that too much?
Well, he can protect himself.
Oh, I can protect himself. Okay. All right, fair enough.
Don't be disrespectful to the sea.
Yep. Definitely won't be.
Well, actually, depends on the wind as well.
Yeah, okay. That's what the gods are like. They are certainly whimsical. I'll give them that. We were setting out, I presume, to another place to raid when we encountered some Phaeacian ships, much to the Phaeacians' loss.
Detriment, yes.
Detriment, yeah. I think they were scout ships or something, something like that. And Zal demonstrated her ability to burn any boat within range.
Basically burnt a hole right through 2 boats.
Yeah. And of course in destroying 3 boats, we killed a lot of chained up slaves. The only one who comes up with any credit.
I wouldn't say kill. You
Drowned
released.
is the same effect.
No, you released them.
No, I don't think so.
They were still manacled, so you could technically say they weren't released.
Yeah.
Spiritually released.
Cheval comes out with some credit, having rescued 2 of the slaves. The rest of us, and me in particular, come out with no credit whatsoever.
But hey, not many had actually entered the opponent's ship to fight.
Yeah.
Which I was actually hoping for, but no, you have to burn the ship.
To be honest, though, as Martin said, if we let those scout ships go,
Right, yeah, we would be screwed.
we would have TPK.
Okay, just be quiet.
Still doing the recap.
Yep.
Okay, so
And to be fair, we didn't realise until after everything when Chauvel valiantly comes over with 2 people and then proceeds to, I don't know, has he actually told us yet?
well, technically he could, she could have told you by the
I didn't say at the end of last session, but beginning of this session, when Chauvel lands on the boat, she explains that these people on these boats were slaves.
Yeah. I also know
The priest says, didn't you know?
I also know Phaeacians do employ
So
slaves.
the comment that was made last session was that from most of your knowledge of Phaeacians is that the crew were generally people who had committed heinous crimes that deserved punishment. And that was normally assault, murder, anything that would normally be a capital offence was not death, it was rowing the oars until they literally died on them.
Nations employ slaves for a whole raft of reasons, not just because they're convicted criminals.
And a majority of their fleets were all manned like that for quite a while. Then, unknown to most of the people, including Yodri, is that during the war they ran out of convicts because, well, they tend to die when the ship sinks, even if the rest of the crew survives.
I did know all this.
You may have learned some of this, but you wouldn't have learned all of that because that's only been in the last.
They are always doing this. If you get captured, you're going to be enslaved in one form or another.
They would normally send anyone who looked like they were a worthy fighter to the gladiatorial arena.
Yeah.
They would generally find other ways to make people pay, but that they were not particularly nice in general, but they were considered fair up until recently. So it would have been, for most people, it would have been in the last 5 years that things were slowly changing, and it would have been 2 years ago that it went really bad.
Yeah.
So that's the context I'm putting it in for people, is that none of you have actually had dealings with the Theatan Navy in that 2 year period, where every person, no matter what their standing in life, was being dragged and chained up and put to work to keep their war machines going because they just didn't have the manpower anymore. And it was always foreigners who were taken first.
Well, speaking as someone who's escaped from Phaeacian custody, I would say.
Yeah, you would probably have been put to work on road gangs and that sort of thing.
Cross-Scory, they had a different plan for me. But that's another story.
But that's...
No.
That would normally have been what they would have done in Karamikos, is the road gang. Because the road was basically built by convicts. And unlike the rest of the Theatan Empire, you actually had to be guilty of the crime, and the crime actually being a crime in the eyes of the Duke for it to be considered enslavement.
Yeah. There's a lot of baggage in all of that.
There is a lot of baggage there.
And there's also, I would point out that, the assumption behind this is somehow that trials and legal systems are fair, which is not necessarily the fact, particularly when you get to Phaeacians and Duke Karamikos.
The Duke of Karamikos, if he's involved in the trials, are always fair. But he's not always involved. And there are people below him who want to punish the Treldarans, and they will definitely be overbearing and harsh sentencing.
Yeah.
And if he ever got wind of that, he would be the one who would overturn it, but it would definitely not be easy. So you would have some grudging respect for him, but you still don't like him.
No, I don't have any grudging respect for him at all. This is all propaganda.
Especially
propaganda.
Considering his cousin, who he hasn't stopped, is the worst enslaver in the nation.
Okay.
Out of the Black Eagle. He's the Baron of the Black Eagle Barony.
Oh, okay. You have mentioned him.
And his...
the ground.
And his court wizard, known as Bargul, is the most hated wizard in the setting.
Yep.
So when you have...
Judge your people by the company they keep.
And those that they allow to rule in their name.
Yep.
So when you add that context on there, that's the part you hate. That's what you believe all Theatans to be.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Anyway, we've established the Phaeacians are bad guys.
And we've also established that Bargul the Infamous works with the Black Knight of Karamikos.
Okay, no surprises there.
As his servant.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll note that down.
That's what the Wednesday group found out.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Have you met the Black Knight?
Oh, did we? My friend invited.
Bradshaw had left the group by that time.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know a little bit about some areas of that, but not everything. Yeah.
This was when they were fighting the guy known as the Ashen King. I'm not sure you got to actually get deep into that combat.
No, I didn't understand.
That sounds bad.
It is. It is a fiendish plague that's currently hitting Karamikos.
Okay, how did that come about?
Like
Did
all
that come
plagues,
out from the deserts?
you have no idea any information about that. All you know is that it's in Karamikos, and Wednesday Group is trying to stop it.
Okay, well, good luck, Karamiko.
So
Good
there
luck,
was
Listener
a-
Group. I don't have any spells.
Led by Dimitri, the Traldaran wizard of note.
Okay.
We're gonna fail. It's okay.
Did you say that was a plague?
Yes, a fiendish plague.
Yeah, okay. I wish them luck. I wish I could help.
A fiendish plague.
Yes, except the Black Knight of Karamikos is involved in stopping the plague.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay. Don't trust him one bit, but anyway.
So is he doing the easy method?
The
Or
what?
basically kill everybody, and therefore the plague can't spread?
They haven't done that, no. It's the most benevolent I've actually heard of Bargul in the entire narrative of him.
Okay.
He literally put the entire keep to sleep so their infection couldn't spread and they wouldn't progress their infection.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
That is impressive.
we have 2 freed prisoners.
okay, so with that we will continue on with where you are currently now, and then Calcrix will join shortly.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to wait.
Okay, so we have Chauvel has just landed with 2 beragged, chained, malnourished individuals.
Okay.
Now with ragged claw marks in them.
Try to, well, removing chains, how can we do that?
Look, it's
You look, there are no locks.
hacksaw.
Do you have a hacksaw?
No, that's what I'm just saying.
Well, if you're going to call something out, you should probably say, does anyone have a hacksaw instead of just
No, I
hacksaw?
don't. I have the closest I've got is a crowbar, which is not the same thing.
We have a paladin that can burn them off, right?
Yeah, but they're then affected.
Mm.
I've got a warhammer. They could just bash the lock.
They do have burn marks around where the chains are.
Okay.
So they would literally have been soldered in place, and that way that they would require great effort to break.
Sounds like we need like an anvil and hammer and thing to actually properly get them off.
Proper blacksmith's tools, yes.
Mm.
Can I do I do have Smith tools actually, by the way. I'm not sure, but can I do an engineering check just to see what would it take to disconnect them without causing pain?
Do you have a anvil with your kit?
No anvil, just the hammer tongs things. That's all I've got, unfortunately.
So if you have something that can heat it up and something solid to bash it on, yes, you could literally take them off with probably part of the limb going too. But hey, that's the price of dealing with breaking people free when you don't have magic involved.
Mm.
I'll ask the captain see if they've what they've got around here.
So you also know a sharp knife would also do the same thing.
I have a sharp knife, but I'm not going to use it on that. So yeah. But no. Is there anything else I could just do an engineering check to check if anything else would work, or? Based on what we've got on the boat, that's all. So.
With your Dark Earth hammer thing,
Yeah, Iron Fang.
yeah.
Iron Fang.
Can you just limit it to the metal part, or does it actually affect everything touching it?
Yeah, I kind of think Iron Fang would be a bit of overkill. It may actually do a hell of a lot of damage to the person.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Does it actually affect everything, or just what you're eating?
Okay, so Ross, let me put this into a more science fiction version for you. Okay, so imagine having the person lay their leg on a log, and so the metal bits upwards. You pull out a lightsaber and then cut straight through the log to take the metal off. It would still be effective. They would no longer be chained.
Yeah, you might be able to do it with a critical or something. Remove just the chain and nothing more.
Not that one.
Let's see spells. I could fix the chain. Pity I can't reverse the spell. Pity I don't have a corrosion spell. I've got a mending spell.
Dude, technically, Iron Fang can shatter.
Yeah, I've got shatter, but shatter's an area effect.
Is it an area effect?
Yes, it's an area effect. 10-foot radius sphere.
Shatters everything in that space?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What? Did
Whoa!
you use acid arrow? Because I do have that spell.
I've
Oh,
got
is it?
acid arrow as well.
So yeah, that reminds me. I've got my acid. I could go through the vials of acid.
So you want to burn it all off?
The problem.
I'm sure it'll be perfectly safe.
I could do that. The only issue is I'm just wondering if my curse takes effect because I'm doing something for basically free.
Your curse is, Ross, your curse is always in effect.
Shatter would
Yeah.
work if somebody has some like protection from energy and puts thunder up and then cast shatter. But the shatter would still probably hit the boat.
It is quite an interesting 10-foot radius sphere. Boom.
Yeah.
So it does 40-foot 10-foot, 20-foot diameter.
Yeah.
All creatures made of stone, metal, and other inorganic material have disadvantage in the saving throw. So you're going to do 3d8 damage to everything within that area. It is a nice little spell to drop.
Yeah, it is not a bad spell. But as we discussed earlier, Anton's demonstrating the ability to kill things, not the ability to actually help.
You could either do 3d8 or you could do 10d10.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. None of them sound like they're actually going to.
With double damage against structures.
None of these sounds like they're actually going to help the people who are chained up. I think we're just going to have to apologise and say, look, we can't do anything about chains at the moment.
And the chains are designed that if they ever get in the water, they will sink with them. Because you cannot swim with those chains.
Bradshaw, do you think couple of vials of acid would weaken it so you'd be able to break the hinge or break the shackle?
There are no hinges, and it's not shackles. It is literally metal welded around them, making it a solid piece.
Oh, okay.
It's not designed to be taken off for us. If the ship goes down, the slaves die. That is the design. They cannot walk in these chains.
What a bunch of pricks.
That's the Phaeacians for you.
Basically, this is a form of prison sentence that they have liberally applied beyond just prison.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why no one likes either of the empires.
Yep.
Yep, no, because I looked at it, I'm just looking through my character sheet, and I can't see anything I could do as a weapon master that with that hammer that could do anything, could get a precise shot or anything, so
Yeah.
unless we've got an anvil, I've got no other options, but I don't think we'll have an anvil on ship.
I don't think we've got anything on ship that's going to help here.
No, I think we're just going to have to, on the way till we get to somewhere that we can do it.
Okay, so they're going to just check to see if they actually had valuables on their ship. Well, that would have helped if the ships hadn't have been sunk.
Yeah.
It was talking about raiding the sea chests of the ships.
Well, okay. If you
Entire
feel like,
section.
if you feel like diving, I don't know how deep would the sea be here?
It would be fairly deep because there is a kraken or a
Yeah.
other form of
Yeah, okay, nobody wants to
giant
go
creature
swimming.
down there.
Nobody wants to go swimming down there.
I'm sure Yodri will survive for longer than
That's
most.
just not going to work. Not
Yeah, but the problem is the time, and if the scouting party does not return, we don't know how far ahead of their main fleet they are.
Yeah, that's true. There is a fleet coming. Where were we going? Does anybody remember? Well, Gus the captain, where were we headed to?
They're headed for their raid.
Yeah, raid to get them better beer, is it? That's all I
Right.
remember about the book on the
Sounds
station.
like we're not going to have surprise if they had scouting ships out. And
Well, the
you-
scouting ships weren't from the people we're raiding.
Oh, okay.
They were from the Theatan Navy that is currently trying to stop Alphatia from sneaking past them, which is why they don't want to take out the main fleet. They just don't want to be attacked by the fleet and taking it into their armed forces.
Now, Alphacia's not the Nordic types that we have at the moment, am I correct? This is a sort of out of game trying to actually get all the names straight.
So Alphatia is the big empire of magic required for anything of note.
Right.
So if you don't have any
So
form of
they're
magic,
two other groups. We just got caught in somebody else's war.
yeah, and
Okay.
the Vikings are trying to stay out of their war, but doesn't want them encroaching on their territory or
Yeah.
stealing their people.
Yep.
So they wanted the scouts gone so that they couldn't report back that there was a large number of fighting forces moving through
Yeah.
their own territory.
And I hardly agree. You do not want Phaeacian slavers in your lands and on your seas. Wholeheartedly agree. Happy to help on that.
And while you're talking, you notice that the rest of these ships had been sunk as well.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
there were 5 scout ships, weren't there?
You took 3, the rest of the fleet took 2.
Well, Zal took 2, the rest of us took 1. The rest of the fleet took the other 2.
Please stop.
Well, it was very impressive,
Impressive?
Impressive. Yeah.
Impressive, most impressive.
Your grandfather's skull, was it?
Father Scott.
Father's skull.
It really did feel like a Darth Vader quote, saying that someone is very impressive.
Where's Zal, the Rome Kraken from now on, as a new nickname. So.
Thanks.
And you can see that the ships ahead have headed in towards the coast.
I presume we're going the same way.
And as you're coming into the coast, you can actually see a dragon you recognize coming in over the waters to follow you in.
Okay. Do we recognise Calcrix, or do we think it's a different dragon?
You can quite easily recognize Calcrix by the glittering gold on the wing,
Wave.
because of the scar has healed with a golden tint.
Oh, what was the scar?
Metallic.
Okay, we're going to have to hear about this scar.
It's the one where
It's the
Eve.
one from the first battlefield where she was flying over the battlefield and she got struck down. And so the story
Oh, and
is
that's where-
the great white dragon fell on the battlefield and then the tiny little grey plant picked up
That's right.
at the time I think I was either large or one above large.
I believe you were large at the time.
Yeah, and so she picks up the large dragon and then shouts death to the infidel at all sides. And even the undead who were attacking from the master's side went, nope, not dealing with that, and carried her off the field, and then Calcrix appeared later with gold scars.
So you got a multitude of... Actually, they were quite good, actually. With the gold.
But it's only on one wing.
It's only on one wing, but Calcrix has mentioned to people that her feeling is that her research on Bahamut, the exiled
Yeah.
god, is often accompanied by either 7 gold dragons or 7 gold birds.
Yeah.
So she's got gold scars. She has a feeling that even though he's exiled, he's had a hand in her being healed. Because why else would a white dragon have gold stars?
You're more than a white dragon.
She is now, but metallic. She's a white dragon with metallic gold on her.
Yeah, okay.
That's significant.
Yeah. Well, I can say gods speak crazy.
Yeah, they do.
They are, especially considering Chauvel hasn't been able to get an audience with her god for quite a while now. And then ended up changing gods.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, isn't there a god thing going on there?
I was going to say, there's moments where she feels like playing strings.
God swap or what is that, hot dating for gods?
Oh, speed dating with gods, okay.
So is that sort of like Tinder, where you got to make sure you swipe the right way?
I'd say I think it's more like Grindr.
This is not a surprise about Josh, but just put it out there. So, yeah. I'm just making the characters I know, Josh, that's all. Yeah.
Listen. Chauvel can't help who wants to fight over her, okay? She's hot, she was wanted, she was hot stuff, now she's just a badass.
And she's now taken on a goddess who's always about lifting women up and championing the downtrodden women.
Oh, we have a journal. We know all about Chauvel's new god. We just looked it up and finished doing our research.
Okay, so yes, as you're heading towards the shore, you can see that up ahead many of the other Viking ships have beached themselves. And the people are getting out and starting to form a shield wall on the shore.
Okay, so there's a battle happening already.
Well, they're not the sort to casually walk up a shore, even if it looks deserted.
Okay.
Because everywhere is dangerous when you're a Viking.
Sounds wise, to be honest, particularly in this environment.
Well, they find each other so often that this is their standard of arriving on a location where they haven't made previous arrangements.
Okay.
And sometimes even after they've made previous arrangements. Because, hey, I'm sure an archer can get a lot of kudos for taking out someone else.
Yeah. Well, this is their raid. We're just along for the ride.
Oh, better join me. Rachel's eager to get off the ship as soon as possible. So.
Okay, so as you're coming in, Calcrix is able to glide along with you.
I'm looking at this. I've only got Calcrix once at a certain location, and I'm going, oh, you guys got a dragon too. Okay.
And you can see that Calcrix's scales are all painted in different scenes.
Oh, they're painted now. Okay, that's new.
It happened recently.
Okay.
I did turn up the last session that I was with you guys with the storyboard on one.
That's right, I did vaguely remember something.
Just get back to the bathroom while you're happy to chat to them on the way into the ward.
Here's the storyboard depicted at the moment.
The storyboard does depict like all of the various stories of her life. So she told the Elk clan lots of stories to entertain them, and in return for entertaining them, they all drew pictographs of those adventures. So there'll be a few where you've got on one scale you've got representatives of the party, so you've got Zal, you can tell there's like a stick figure that looks like Zal, and there's a stick figure with flames coming up from the head, and then there's like a short halfling size stick figure, and they're all standing together, and then they're falling down like a chasm of some sort, and there's dogs attacking them, and then the fire character tosses a coin to a dog, and then they move through into a place with a treasure chest and get the money type thing. So it kind of tells in pictures that as a party, the group were going down a tomb in Yalarum. They came across some guard dogs. Chauvel fed the guard dog a coin, or paid a coin, And then we eventually got through that tomb to a reward, which was like a chest or something like that.
Okay.
And so she's got series of scales with like pretty much all of her adventures and her friends' adventures on there. But you'll notice there's like stories that no one will have ever heard from like the Tuesday group. And there'll be like characters that you don't know, but you'll recognise that Calcrix has spoken about, like her friend Lani with the trident, and her friend Drachnova, who was a normal Etrurgan, but now then became a half dragon, and now is a dragon shapeshifter.
He calls himself a were-dragon.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Just that he's not infectious.
So you can kind of tell who he is because, you know, you've got a half dragon depicted on one of the scales and that kind of thing. So I don't know how they managed to do that in one night, but they did that. And part of what they were doing was covering up the fact that Calcrix has black and blue scales. It looks like she's just been painted up by a bunch of children and she's left it that way.
Yeah.
Rather than people going, that white dragon has at least 2 more elements. And you can kind of also, she can also say, oh, the children painted my scars gold, metallic gold. So it means that if she did land somewhere in Alphasia, they might not immediately realise that she has at least 3 elements there. Is it Alphasia or Fiatus?
Can I study the pictures?
Yeah.
I might cast Detect Magic to see if they're just magical or they're painted or what.
You do sense the presence of magic.
Okay, so this is magical painted pictures. Okay.
But a dragon also can radiate magic.
Well, I'm trying to distinguish that. I was studying to try to work out whether, I'm studying the pictures, the images, the paint, rather than the dragon. So to try to distinguish that, whether or not the, the pictures and the paint are actually separate, and it might be more than just
because
pictures.
I do have also scales from the Worm's Teeth Mountain and the dragons. Like I've got a ruby scale, I've got a scale of wound closure. So I have magic scales.
Yeah, well, I'll probably be easy to distinguish. What I'm trying to work out is whether or not this is just paint or whether it's something more than that.
I have to leave that up to Mark.
Okay, so as you're looking at it, you can sense there is a lot of magic involved.
Okay.
The magic is potentially in the paint. It's radiating from inside as well.
Okay.
So
I think this is more than just a storyboard.
As far as I know, it's just a storyboard. Calcrix doesn't lie very well, but she's not saying anything else.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. It's very interesting.
but you've rarely had the opportunity to cast Detect Magic this close to a dragon.
Is that a bad thing to do?
Well, dragons have a lot of secrets.
Oh, I'll ask permission.
Oh, Calcrix is more than happy to. She's a bit distracted though. You notice when she lands, she doesn't ignore you guys or anything. She kind of gives you a wave and that, but she goes directly to Drazzle and then ends up deep in conversation with him.
Okay, well,
And
well,
the
let's
faces they are making are there's a lot of concerned tones, and Drazzle and her obviously not in disagreement about something, but they're discussing something very intensely for a little bit before she comes away and offers her usual hugs to everybody who will accept hugs from her.
Bradshaw's a bit wary of dragon hugs, so just now, because I'm only just the second time I met you, so I'm really not sure what you get just yet.
Calcrix will gently hug Bradshaw in the way that Bradshaw can't resist. She's a large dragon. You get hugged.
Bradshaw will offer you an apple.
Body slam.
Bradshaw will offer an apple like he offers his dragon mouth an apple, so that's the only thing those apples that the dragons eat, so I'll offer you an apple.
You still get hugged.
I know, but I just said I have a pouch of unlimited apples that I use. So.
I will accept the apple with delight. and offer a bite to eat. Does it eat the apple or take a bite?
It quite happily consumes the apple. Though his way of consuming the apple is he looks like the apple as he consumes it.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Well, I will, because I'm much smaller than you and not nearly as physically strong, I'll just be happy with sidling up to him and wrapping your neck around me. I'm not trying to bear the huge weight of the dragon.
So as she hugs Cheval, she says, "It is good to see you, servant of Mystara." And then she gives Zal a hug, and says, "I've been worried about you, my dear friend, and perhaps we might find some time to talk after our adventure with these Vikings." She hugs Anton the same and says pretty much the same thing. I'm a bit worried about you. When there's opportunity, I would like to talk with you.
Before Caprix had moved off to Anton, can Zal also say, or just ask, like, are you okay? You look like you were, you had something really important to, like, you don't have to tell me, but just as long as you're okay. Because you look like you were, very concerned with what you were talking to Drazzle about.
Well, we have a number of things going. I'm on, as you know, some missions, but I also, I've had a brush with the Master, as you know, when we were getting Calamity back from the Master. Unfortunately, we, as you know, we've had to shift time, and while the primal items are now safe and the seasons are back, it has had its cost, and I fear my inattentiveness and absence from this group has left you without my experience and guidance and alternative options. So I am going to try to make sure that I'm a better mentor and guardian of my good friends.
What's this cost you're worried
about? This is something that this is not a good time to,
we'll talk about that later.
to discuss it. The Vikings here.
They're about to go on their raid.
And Drazzle has mentioned before that every time is rewound, there is a price to pay.
I know.
Yes.
But Drazzle does these things and doesn't tell us very much, so...
Unfortunately, there comes a lot of restrictions. I do not mean to be secretive. You do know that I am as honest and transparent with you as I can. As I give Yodri his hug, I will slip him a blue gem that I've picked up that when you look at it, it looks like the sea. So you can see it looks like kind of, if you look at it enough, it reminds you of the sea.
You shake it and ask a question.
Does Jodri shake it and ask a question?
Is it also snowflakes?
No,
Okay, so it's got shaking and some writing appears, does it?
It's a
No,
gemstone.
I was joking.
So it's a gemstone that looks like a wave, so like a surfer's wave. So
Okay, cool.
Gemstone that looks like that. So it just really reminds you of the sea. And I'm like, this is just something I picked up in my travels that I felt belonged with you.
Most appreciated.
And when I get the apple from Yodri, not Yodri, Bradshaw, I will pass him a cookie.
I'm going to sniff the cookie to work out what kind of type of cookie it is.
It's always tasted like your favourite cookie.
I have a little nibble.
It tastes just like your wife's brother makes.
Oh, that's a good cookie because he's a very good chef.
Mm.
Arthur chefs are the best.
It also, Calgrix informs you, she says, apologies, I should have mentioned this, but eating the cookie comes with the benefit of not being compelled to serve ex ante or
Only given by Eve.
Oh, well, in that case, Eve will give you the cookie.
Okay. I'm confused about this white dragon stuff right now. Is that true?
Well, you probably be told that Eve is a dark fae.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, we have, Bradshaw has Eve's.
Is only met you once at the inn when we all caught up together, all the teams, and that's the only time I've met you.
So this is a very important moment. She brings Eve down and she says, Eve, this is Bradshaw. Bradshaw is a party member. He is a friend, not food. The Vikings that you see here, they're a part of our family at the moment. They are friends, not food. If you see anyone stabbing anyone here, they are not friends. Okay? Just Eve throw up a flashcard.
Eve scratches her head.
Calgrix throws up 2 flashcards.
Eve bounces a little bit.
Okay, alright. We got it working. Tucks the flashcards back behind the scale. System's currently, hopefully, functioning.
Maybe the second time meeting you, this is still very confusing for Bradshaw, by the way, just to let you know.
And then she addresses Bradshaw. She says, Bradshaw, Eve is dark fae. You cannot ask or accept
some of their sultanas, chocolate sultanas.
except for the cookies. The cookies will always taste like your favourite thing, but they also protect you from a god known as Exantiotl, who is a god of corruption and can compel anyone to serve him whether they want to or not. The cookie gives you the option of saying no.
The gift of accepting it from Eve is you have the option of saying no. The cookie doesn't provide anything.
Yeah.
It's the accepting it from Eve.
Yeah, from Eve. Yes, sorry.
I'm just giving you the.
You're giving me the rulebook version. Calcrix is giving you Calcrix's. This is for non-dragon people who may not understand all of the Dark Fae rules. I simplifying it.
Yeah, and look, you're not the only one who doesn't really understand all this stuff, right? Sure.
Yeah, so only ever take cookies from Eve. Never ask Eve for anything. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
The other dragon you really have met is my mount. He's back at the other location because we couldn't bring him on. And Razzle, that's only 2 people met of dragon side. So there's a lot of new dragon stuff going on.
Well,
And you've actually had an entire sentence explained to you, not back the front, so that's also unusual.
Look, I'm used to Razzle, so this is very surprising for me right now because after doing the dragon for so many years,
I owe my good speaking to Zal and Yodri and Cheval, who all taught me how to speak your language.
Hey, when you've got some spare time, can you teach me how to talk to dragon? I want to talk to my mount. It's a dragon that Razzle gave me, and I would like to know what it thinks of me and things like that.
I can teach you Draconic.
Cool.
Most of us can now teach you Draconic.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's-
almost all the party knows Draconic.
Yeah, so my mount is
I don't know Draconic.
Drizzle does speak up, saying Mount can understand Draconic, Mount can't speak Draconic.
Where is that, Drizzle?
Mount more stupid than most dragons.
Is it a
Explains a lot, man. Okay, yeah, explains a lot of the conversation as well.
Mount talk at all?
Mount not talk.
Okay.
Mount understand, Mount not talk.
Yeah.
Proshka's the same. Proshka understands but doesn't talk.
Proska holds up a deck to Bradshaw.
Yeah, okay.
Pick a card, any card.
Is no one going to warn him?
Well, technically he has to announce how many he's going to pick if it's actually going to work that way. If he just takes a card, it has no effect other than taking a card.
I know.
Okay.
Probably
Just for the players to know that it's not risky unless he actually announces how many he's taking.
I'm good then. I won't
Yeah.
roll across the front.
Just so the players were aware. Yes.
This is a dark fate on your cards.
No, this is another dragon. It is a small little dragon, the size of a cat, with a set of playing cards.
So it's Anton Gary's companion dragon. Well, is it a fairy dragon?
It's a pseudo dragon.
Pseudo dragon.
I will look at Anton while I take one card. I'm very confused.
Oh, you've given him a good excuse to pull out his shiny cards. So.
You were cards are bigger the cards are?
These cards are beautiful. You should see them in person. This is such a beautiful.
I would like Anton to pick the card if he like then will pick the card. So it's there.
A card for Bradshaw.
Yeah.
These are like gilded and everything. I've not seen a more beautiful deck of cards in a while.
Is that the deck of a thing I'm thinking of or not? It's different thing.
It is, in fact, that deck.
So that's the back of the deck,
Oh, yeah. No, sure.
and that's the side of the deck.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, cool. Just thought I'd ask.
If I didn't keep dropping them all over the place, I'd play with those cards all the time.
Is this the deck of Kaboom?
It's only the deck of Kubom if he announces how many cards he's drawing.
Not this deck.
But didn't you say he'll take a card, and that's still declaring how many cards he's taking?
And if his character says I'm taking a card but doesn't actually announce he's taking a card, it doesn't count.
Oh, okay, cool. I just wanted to know
I'm trying to tell you that it is a verbal component of the magical item. You have to have the character stated to actually activate it. Otherwise, it has no effect, even if he draws the most amazing card possible.
One of the really bad ones.
Yep. Okay, so he gets what's called the card of fate pop up, meaning that really something really bad is about to happen to him because it is reversed.
Really? That's what Bradshaw pulls?
Well, there's a lot of bad things happening in the world at the moment. We probably all get that.
That's all right. All the characters in bad shape at the moment of every game I play them up, so that's a good.
Okay, so. So you're actually from Anton's reading of the card, because Proshka does give him that information. Anton gets to pick one of the reversed meanings from it.
Okay.
For fate. Whichever one you think is appropriate, because he's the cards does give a foretelling for anyone who draws from them, unless you actually specify I'm activating the item.
So, explain that to me again. So, he holds up the cards, and if you want to activate them, you say, I am taking 3 cards.
Well, a player will have to say, I'm going to activate the item, so I'm going to take black cards.
Okay. So the player says, I'm activating the item,
Unless
and I'm
they-
taking...
Unless they say they're activating the item, all they do is get a reading from the cards.
Right.
The idea is not to make it punishing or horrific.
And then when they take exactly whatever cards, if the cards are reversed, bad thing. If cards,
Some reverse is good, some reverse is bad.
yeah. And then, so the cards then foretell something.
They do
I'm thinking that I would pick the one that would most appeal to Anton. I know very little about Bradshaw. A person driven by the desire to escape whatever fate has in store.
I'm not laughing because I know what Brashaw's history is.
I don't know. I hope that's not bad for you, Bradshaw.
And so Anton comes out with that without even thinking about it, without realizing that the magic has been activated by Proshka.
What did you do?
He just looks at you and nods. Then holds up the cards for you.
I'm not sure now is a good time.
And
We're telepathically communicating. Does he really want me to do it?
no,
Okay.
yeah, you just talked to him, so he thought, card?
I'm not.
Every time he gets introduced to people, he'll be pulling out the deck.
Okay.
Much like Eve likes to hand people cookies.
Okay. Well, you've taught Proshka something.
Eve and Carprix are looking at the shiny deck of cards, and they don't know if they should be looking at them quite as much as they do because they are a shiny deck of cards, and they fell for it last time.
Yeah. The thing is you are really tempting fate if you take lots of cards.
Oh, it's not about tempting fate. Carprix cannot resist shiny things.
It's one of Calvrich's
Use a
drawbacks.
floor.
Okay.
Much
So-
like you have the floor about wanting to break things.
It will be up
It's not
to.
a flaw.
It's an enhancement.
It's a motivation.
A way of life.
Usually I leave it up to the dice as to whether or not I fall to the floor or not, because Martin's like, just roll the dice whenever you get your floor and whatever you. Oh shit, I pick a card.
Okay.
I don't just pick a card, I activate the card and pick the card. I got a 4.
Okay, so you get an actual... Which means we might go through a few cards until we actually get one that can activate.
Sorry, I got a 4.
Because I'm not going to separate the deck out for it. Okay. Actually, I think we might have got it on the first one, the knight.
Is that upside down or right way up? Upside down.
Well, Martin did
No, I
say
thought you
he was
said a
gonna
knife. I was a
create-
bit worried about that, Martin, by the way. Just like,
He said he was going to create an interesting character for me. What was that rule about getting 3 floors? Cannot resist someone who needs help. Cannot, insatiable curiosity and shiny things.
Okay, so... As you draw the card, you do hear a voice say, at your service, mistress, as a silver dragon appears
Oh, okay.
in full plate armor.
So a dragon in plate armor, or
Dragon in
or a
plate armor.
humanoid?
An actual dragon in plate armor of medium size, not a huge size dragon, but has quite a few blades around it, as well as what appears to be a shield of Bahamut. Because
And the dragon says, at your service, mistress.
yep, because when you draw the knight, you actually gain the service of a knight.
And how long does the service last for?
Who says there's a limit to the time?
it's one of the better cards, by the way. Yeah.
Are there any rules around the service?
Well, basically, you now have someone who wishes to serve you above everything else,
Okay.
and will see to your interests first.
Ooh, you've got summon a minion.
Carprix bows in the sense that she's paying her respect to a fellow dragon.
And the accent is old dragon.
Old dragon.
Mm-hmm. You think you have one of the original paladins of Bahamut.
I am honoured by your service. We are in the midst of helping our Viking friends here undertake a mission. If you could stay by my side, I will give you directions if I need to. But ultimately, these party members, I'll indicate Zal, Yodri, Rachel, Anton, Drazzle. Horse. He doesn't need it.
Well, horse isn't here at the moment. None of the mounts are.
Drazzle has to say, if these people's lives are in danger, it is my wish to protect them.
Okay.
But not necessarily in protecting them. If you can take non-fatal means first, please do so. Only take fatal means as a last resort.
And while you're saying that, everyone gets to make a dexterity saving throw as a shower of arrows start falling amongst you.
Roll another 4.
Dexterity saving throw. That's not what I call a good saving throw for me.
18.
You did very well.
Yeah. Why can I roll that for the other one?
I rolled an 18
Although,
too.
mind you, I've got a silver dragon knight, so I'm not complaining. So I'm worried about what it would be before then.
What do you do for Bradshaw?
What did Bradshaw get?
29.
22? Okay.
What about for me? Is it roll for them as well?
Technically, he should fall under yours.
Okay, right, it falls under mine.
Unless he's operating independently of you and not on you.
No,
That
Prosker's enamoured of his cards.
20.
Okay, how about Chauvel?
My final roll was 25.
Sorry, Mum.
What did Chauvel roll?
Oh, Dex saving throw. Yay!
21 for Sol.
I was going to say, I thought you had better dexterity than that.
I have +3, so no.
Snap!
And
I got
so-
+3 dex saving throw.
Because my boosted saving throws are int, wisdom, and charisma. Funnily enough.
23 for Chanel.
Mm-hmm. And what about you?
I got 25.
Okay, so as you're discussing things, you manage to dodge out of a hail of arrows coming from the rocks further up the beach as you hear the Vikings starting to bash their shields as they're trying to create a racket to distract the archers as they start moving up.
Is my save good enough to throw my wing up and protect a few people?
You didn't need to. They were good enough to dodge out
All
of the
them
way.
were good enough? Cool, awesome.
I would have said otherwise. Okay, so you do see that it's probably going to take him 3 rounds to reach the archers. What would you like to do?
How many rounds?
3
I have an
rounds.
idea. I have an idea if it's okay.
Then
I'll ask-
I shall
no.
call initiative if people have ideas.
Yeah.
Because that way, if your idea is fantastic and they've already acted, it will be interesting to see if it will still work.
I have a feeling that Clark's will love this idea.
Oh, so...
19 for me.
You're right.
19 for Bradshaw.
What are we using for initiative?
You can use perception.
Okay, perception. That's at least one of my better ones. I'm not sure I want to actually roll well on this one.
The perception that would be 23.
Alright, perception. Here we go. A natural 2. So I got my wish of a lousy roll.
So what does that make it?
12.
Which one's perception again?
Perception.
It's generally wisdom, not always though.
It's generally
Yeah,
wisdom,
okay,
yes.
So that is...
3 rounds to get it. So how far away are we? That would be what, 100 feet maybe?
Considering most shield walls will only move 15 feet at a time.
Yeah, okay. So they're only about 50 feet away, so.
Couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
It is 15 unless... I've got a note here I don't understand, but it says when my Dark Fae is next to me, I get to roll a d4.
Mm-hmm. You get to add a d4 to it.
So if I get to add the d4, I got a 4, which makes it a 19.
Mm-hmm. Then it's a 19.
I just wanted to check I'd added up correctly.
Okay, what did Yodri get?
I rolled badly. I got an 18.
You rolled badly and you got 18.
Yeah.
He's got feats that give him boosts.
I've got +12 to my initiative.
No, Jesus.
I was going to say, mind you, I rolled like
Well, you could probably say that Bradshaw is that because he has come back from the dead.
No.
As have you, but I'm not sure you'd be calling your own name out, so that's why I referenced Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fine.
It's fine to get that one Martin, by the way.
I'll pay that.
And so what was Zal's?
13.
And what was Chauvel's exceedingly high one?
Cheval's gonna decimate everybody before they.
Chauvel normally rolls high in initiative, that's why I'm asking. He might surprise me and she gets a low roll. Do we still have a Josh?
I am here. It's a not natural 20 for my initiative, sorry.
All good. Sorry to get you while you're eating, but that's not unusual for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is Bradshaw up first. So your brilliant idea got you that bonus across the line, so you're first up.
Okay, I asked my new white dragon friend whether it's a she or he, by the way. So
Well, it is a multicolored dragon with patterns all over it. It's pretty much looks like an unusual story dragon.
Don't! White dragon is fine! White dragon is just fine!
Okay, we'll go with white dragon
I'm
then.
happy to be referred to as a white dragon friend.
So, what do you say to the white dragon friend?
so, Madam White Dragon, but I still don't know. I would like one if you could pick me up and just throw me over there to the archers.
I will happily, if that's what he wants, I will pick him up and give him the best that I can. I don't know if my athletics is particularly good, but
In this case, we can fly over and drop me on top of them. Either way, whatever's easy for you.
I've seen that.
I'm sure that Karkar can do some dragon tossing.
I can either. Did you want me to toss you or fly you?
Whatever's the suits you the best.
I can. If it's accuracy you need, I can fly you right into it.
If you ever fly me into what I've heard of a cannonball run, I think they call it these days, in the young, that's what the young crew call. So, yeah.
Would I be allowed to fly him in? Is that...
I'm sure you'd be allowed to fly him in.
Okay, look, I'll fly him in if that's what he wants.
It's not often that you have a dwarf asking to be thrown.
But it's not, and to be honest, it seems like it'd be really fun to throw him. But I don't mind flying him in just to make sure he hits the mark.
It's okay, but I was almost shoot. Well, dragon person look after me.
Okay, so everyone gets to make a dexterity saving throw again as more arrows come flying towards you.
Sorry, I'm just gonna check that's
Okay, not so good.
Not so good this time.
What was your not so good?
Total of 9.
Total of 9. Okay, so unfortunately you zigged when you should have zagged, and you ended up with 14 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
I got 11 on, so.
And Bradshaw also ends up with 14 points of piercing damage. How about Chauvel?
Chauvel was 17.
And how about Yodri?
I got 25 again.
And how about Zal?
16.
Okay, so I believe everyone but Bradshaw and Anton managed to avoid the arrows.
Wait, do I take damage?
You do not take damage, you avoided the arrows. Only Bradshaw
Oh, right,
and Anton.
sorry. I thought you meant the other way around, and I was very confused for a second. Sorry, my brain is a bit slow today.
You need coffee.
I had 3 cups today. It's done nothing.
Well, you're speaking, that might be what it's doing.
I've got 9 so far, by the way, so I'll be on that one. So.
I'm still awake.
Okay, so we're now up to Chauvel the Annihilator.
So we've just been peppered by arrows.
2 rounds of peppered by arrows.
Do we know where they're coming from?
Yes, from the rocks up ahead, which is about 60 feet ahead of you.
from the rocks up ahead.
Mhm.
Oh my god, he's loud. Sorry.
Love me.
It's just going right into my hearing aid.
Mhm.
Oh.
Can't be. Well, actually, it probably is as bad. I checked the cameras on Thursday, just as Mochi was like bullying really loudly, and then like sucked herself into a hollow.
You said 60 feet away?
Mm-hmm.
I may as well fly up there and say hi.
Mm.
What's up? Yeah, I'm going back to the couch. I'm almost there.
As you fly up,
Here, pull!
you see what appears to be 15 archers. Yeah, 15 archers can lay down a good spread of arrows.
I think we've got numbers on them.
So I see 15 archers.
Mm-hmm.
They shot us.
Oh god.
How tightly compacted are they together?
Fairly close,
Oh.
because that makes coordinated archery better the closer you are.
Yes. In the air, as Chavar's action, she will cast Fireball.
Mm-hmm.
So they all make Dex save.
And here Zal is gonna just like wait and see what the Vikings could actually do.
Yeah,
'Cause
where
that's
did
what
I
we're
actually
trying-
put my dice? There it is.
They shot at us.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're shooting at everyone.
Yeah.
They shot at us.
Where's my spells?
No, they shot your hair.
They shot at us. So,
Chauvel, you get to roll damage.
what is? Can I-
Fireball's normally 6d6.
I have fireball.
Have you upcast it?
No, I do not have fireball. Nothing. Give me two
Your dad has
I,
one.
I don't think I can upcast it. It's a 3rd level spell, and I only have.
It's a 3rd level spell. Let me just find this.
It is 66 fire damage.
Way,
It's 66 fire damage. Woo.
way.
Yeah, every time I hear that, it sounds like it's 66.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a flat 66 fire damage. What do they get in terms of their roll? I don't know if you actually said that.
They got 8.
Oh,
Do they have cover for all rocks?
Not from above,
Okay.
and not from a fireball.
Okay.
Because if they are within the area of it and it's not completely blocked from the source, then it technically hits them.
In the air bird.
It's 20-foot radius regardless of cover, which is kind of scary.
Or if you have cover that goes through the entire sphere in that direction, then they're fine on the other side as long as it doesn't destroy the cover.
Yeah.
But if it destroys the cover, then it goes straight through as if there was no cover.
22 points of fire damage.
Okay, so everyone sees the black winged angel fly up. The wings flash with flame and red light as a streak of darkness hits the ground, and then you just hear the sound of crushing bodies and things just being turned to pulp.
Okay, that was impressive.
There's someone in the group that's not impressed.
And a moment later, you just see that there's just this one little ball of bodies where all the was it?
So they're all like sucked in together. Okay.
All the life has been taken.
An implosion. You
No,
created
they've had, their,
implosions.
they've had their souls sucked out of them. Again.
You hear a sigh from Bradshaw in the boat, by the way. So I had a great idea and it got destroyed by one person.
Yeah,
Welcome to the group.
No.
This is always the situation. Something like that fireball or something like fireball just takes everything
Right
out.
now, Caprix is thinking she thought she'd help you guys realise that there were alternatives before it came to this.
I was going to just knock him unconscious, but anyway.
That's it. Non-lethal, damage them, make them run. There are options before you suck their souls out and turn them into incinerated ashes.
At the moment, Eep is tapping Calcrix on the arm, pointing at the winged creature, and Calcrix is wondering, is Eep asking if they're still a party member?
Caprix, if there's time for it, I don't know if there is with initiative, she's going to address her silver servant. What is your name, Knight?
Okay, so as I didn't prepare a Silver Knight to come in, you get to name him.
Oh, okay, that's fine. What's a good strange name for you?
Pardon?
Yep. I was going to let Ariadne name him because it's going to be her servant.
Yeah, that's fair enough, yeah.
Can I...
You can get back to me, yes.
I'll need to get back to you, but for now I will direct the knight to protect the Vikings.
Okay.
In the battle. And
Well, he
Javel-
does look and say the battles are over now.
Yes, the battle is over, but from this point forward, allow the party members to protect themselves.
Okay.
Until they prove that they can consider non-lethal methods of investigation before they approach every encounter with deadly and lethal force.
I think it's a bit unfair to stop from everyone because Zal was going to sit back and watch how the Vikings did a raid. And in a one-on-one later, I was going to go through the ship later.
What you don't know at the moment is because the battle's over, she's going to have those one-on-ones now. Given time and space from the GM.
Okay, so you do get a couple of the captains of the Viking ships coming over to have a word with the group because apparently someone ended their raid early.
Yes.
And none of the raiders actually got to swing a weapon.
This was a fight the Vikings we were meant to just assist them with, as far as I understood. But
Participate in, but not basically take over.
This was a rite of passage and a like teaching them how to fight, and even if it's a real fight and there are real casualties, there's only one way warriors can fight, I presume, and that's by getting in there and getting real experience. And
it wasn't a to the death battle.
No, my understanding that it wasn't it a beer run?
It was a beer run.
It was a keg run. So that's why Calbrooks is just like, no, look, she's like, time out. I don't want to assign the Silver Knight to anything until I know what is going on. Because I've missed out on some things. And she's not judging or angry at Cheval in particular. She's just like, I don't have enough information right now, and I need more before I can figure out what is my appropriate response to this. Well, if there's time, because the Viking people and their thing get priority, if there's time, she would prefer to have her one-on-ones sooner rather than later, or a group talk or something.
Can I still ask
Yeah.
about initiative?
You
Can I
are.
ask somebody to take me over to the Vikings and I'll help them join, not the raid itself, but more just to help out with the beer movement and all that kind of stuff?
Well, they haven't quite
yes.
gotten to where the beer is. This was supposed to be a battle on the way to the beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like a rite of passage.
So think of it of two rival fraternities attacking each other
Yeah.
for their goods.
That was
And
my
somebody
impression.
threw a grenade in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just imagine that there's the same university has two fraternities, and someone decided to use some C4 on the other fraternity so they would win.
That was my impression when I was listening in. So that's why I'm like, I get that they shot at us, but I thought this was just supposed to be like what's that thing? Like not boot camp, but that thing where armies have friendly battles.
There are some of those that they do that, and that they call mock fights.
Yeah.
But they do use real weapons in those mock fights.
Yeah. And there is the real potential for harm, but that's part of the idea.
And if they die during a mock fight, then they still go to Valhalla because technically they died in battle.
Well, technically they got nuked by a Valkyrie.
Oh, they got nuked by a neutron bomber. I'm not sure anyone was quite expecting that. I
was expecting a fireball. I wasn't expecting a implosion.
Yeah, but I suspect that it's more of a case that Chagall doesn't know her own powers now, and it's more of a case of she didn't realise she was going to annihilate them and take their souls. So that's my suspicion, but there's only one way to confirm that, and that's through role-playing.
Okay, so Chauvel now has some gold flames coming off her wings.
She's gone back into supernova.
Oh no, just now has some extra life force.
She's had the gold flames before. Last session she had the gold flames.
After she took lives.
Yeah, after she took lives. Which is some of the intense conversation she just had with Drazzle about, because she was updated on what happened while she was away. And she's like, oh, okay, well, it's good that she's got I know who Mystara is. I spent time with her when I went back.
And the locals call her Lady Sif.
Yes, yeah, I am, because I, at first, got myself into an embarrassing state when I went back to visit Queen of Darkness, Nyx, because I mixed up Nyx and Sif. So, yeah. But that was like a year and a half ago. Anyway, so I presume
You're out of combat, and the Vikings are sort of sitting down on the beach trying to figure out what to do next now that their fun has been taken away.
Caprix will go over to the three captains and suggest that they divide their current group up in two and arrange a new mock battle for the beer.
Well, they're sure that there will be another group ahead. They normally don't fight their own group.
Would you like to forge ahead now, or would you like to take a break?
Well, we weren't expecting to go up the beach until tomorrow.
Okay, so maybe break camp, and I can help bring some supplies, some coffee and things for people to have. Although I'm quite sure these young fellows probably like beer. I can provide some supplies from my own supplies to contribute towards an early camp.
Okay, so the each of the 10 boats that came in, including yours, sets up their own tent.
And I will put the supplies. I will go over to Drazzle and I will say, I presume there's no one doing this, but do you have some advice about preventing this again?
He sighs and says, "Was worse last time round."
I know. Okay. I will do as you've asked me, and I will have a talk with the group. And I hope I follow your advice well.
He just pats you on the arm and says, "You do as you need."
See if I succeed this time around.
He pauses for a moment and thinks, and then just nods.
They are well-intentioned people, but they have powers that carry grave responsibilities, as do I. Anyway, I'll approach the party. I presume you guys are gathered.
Well, you do know that as the paladin is Janazi. She is very young for a Janazi because she grew up amongst humans and grew at their rate. Normally a Janazi will live for 800, 900 years.
Cheval's in the
So-
same category as a dragon in that sense.
Oh no, yeah, won't live as long as a dragon.
No, but in the
Right.
sense of it
Very
takes a
long
long
to
time
live.
to grow up, and all that stuff.
And is basically in the same space as an elf, but has had the growth spurt of a human.
Mm.
So,
Which, yeah, it's a difficult time for all of you guys.
so that's why Drazzle always gives Cheval leeway, because Cheval is literally body grown too fast.
Okay.
Calcrix will pick up Eve and say, why don't you go play cards with Proska? Don't. Do not make any activations or prophecies. Just you gamble for coffee beans like you always do. Okay?
Bygone!
Good girl. I love you. I'll send her off to play with Proshka. And I'll approach the group and I'll actually be kind of wringing my hands and pretty anxious. And I'll say, I'm sorry for being away. I've been pulled in a lot of different directions recently. But a part of what's pulled me away has given me insight into the impact of the things that we do. And I see there's been quite a dramatic change for you, Cheval, with changing over to Madura, and I don't think you've had much time to process that. I gather you're happy with your new patron?
Cheval probably explains to Calcrix that she is very confused about everything good is going on. Yes, is happy in terms of her current appearance, better than the last. However, in the confusion and not in the she forgot where she was and didn't realise that this was meant to be the mock raid.
I've made the same mistake. You know from my confessions before that I've wiped out an entire colony of dinosaurs. That, I almost erased them from extinction. I am not above making the mistakes, and Madura is a very respectable and honourable god. I don't know if you remember her 4 precepts. She believes that actions speak louder than words. This is her charter. that strength comes from within, and that death is the end of a chapter and not a book. And the one that I have a little bit of I feel needs a little bit of compromise is that might makes right. I believe that sometimes this needs to be guided by wisdom, but when it comes to a champion or a paladin of Mystara, I can think of no one more fitted with the strength that you have to fulfill such a role. And I'm very proud of you for making the change. I realise though it is very confusing, and you now have powers that will affect time itself. It is. I feel partly responsible for not being here, having my more experience with the time part of things, to be able to remind, just be here. If any of you want to ask questions about what I do, how that affects the work that you guys are doing, you've made great sacrifices. But in this case, do remember that this death is the end of a chapter for these souls. Not the one they are expecting, but they'll have other chapters. So don't be too hard on yourself. But I think this is definitely a learning point for everyone here, that when we are looking at these missions, while we are in the moment facing battle, we also need to remember there's a big picture, there's a timeline that we are trying to protect. A timeline that we've been fighting literal tooth and claw to preserve this realm and the people in it. And when we have the kind of powers we have, we're being given them by these gods so that we can achieve that goal. But we need to learn, take time, take a moment, and learn what those powers are and how they're going to affect others. Do not get me wrong, Chevelle, I am so proud that you've managed to get through this change. It seems like well, you do look cool. Because you were saying appearance.
So Chevelle does notice that with her vision after the battle, she currently sees most of the Vikings as a threat, including Anton, Zal, and Bradshaw, and Yodri.
So Chevelle sees us as the threat.
Just the perception after the battle finishes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know whether or not Josh Chevelle needs a reminder, but Mystara is a god who believes in the empowerment of women and sees all men as enemies.
Okay.
So one of the things that you will need to balance is that, in your case, not all men are enemies. Thank goodness I'm a girl. I don't want to have my soul sucked out.
And Drazzle is neither, so he is not perceived as a threat.
Yes, but unfortunately,
So what? In a dress and drag.
Now, even if you dress in drag, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
I want to go over and investigate this new sphere of bodies. I've never seen anything like that before.
So it looks as if the entirety has just been squished by a giant into one big mass.
My God, okay. Detect magic, is there any residual magic here?
There's no residual magic, and it all looks as if everything's been desiccated.
Okay. Desiccated as well as sort of imploded in one.
Yeah,
It's a horrific thing to look at.
Yeah. So imagine it was necrotic damage
So
that basically
so
drew the
that
life
big
out
or
of
that
everything. It would only be about that big,
Yeah, about big. So.
representing 15 people.
Okay. That's terrible.
And there is no signs of grass life or
Everything
plant life
everything in the area.
within the radius.
Okay, so you said, is it necrotic? Does it look like it was necrotic damage? Okay. All right. Don't know what to do about that. I think they've probably got their own rituals and customs for dealing with the dead, so I'll let the Vikings do that.
I was going to say, necrotic damage is that related to the fact that Cheval and Zal are related? And they have necromantic ancestry?
It has nothing to do with that at all.
Okay. So it's just got to do with the kind of power that she's able to wield, I guess?
You don't know.
Okay. Can I do an investigation?
You're currently doing other things. You're not
okay,
actually.
yeah.
You're
Oh,
not doing
sorry,
that
I did
investigation.
get distracted by the fact that
You're doing other things.
Anton's, my brain's just...
Trying to solve the other problem.
Yeah, no, it just does that. It's really annoying.
Rachel's just going to go talk off to the other ships, Vikings, and just try to get some goodwill back the other way based on we've ruined their fun for the afternoon. So
A lot of them are sad because they most of them had been drinking with the others at various points in their lives.
Yeah.
well, guys, I'll try to bring over any beer that we have with us to help sober the moments kind of thing. And
No one brought beer with them unless you have beer yourself. The whole point of the beer run was they had no beer.
Yeah, so that's why I've offered supplies.
I still have my flask of unlimited beer, I think.
Yodri might have something?
Yeah, I've got that, but I think it spoils their fun.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so you don't have alcohol.
No, but I'm just saying it spoils their fun.
Yeah.
Before we
I'll
get
go over
too
sorry.
far away, did Cheval want to do anything more, or is she just happy having been given that information about Madura that I have?
Cheval's gonna find a tree away from everyone
Mm-hmm.
and be by herself.
Okay.
And she might need that right now. You know, she's just changed gods. She's got a lot of things to think about.
And hey, he did manage to snuff out the life, or she did manage to snuff out the life of 15 men.
Well, yes, and her god will be very happy about that. I guess the question will be is, you know, and it's fine if that's the decision that Cheval makes. It's up to her. Is that something that she's going to be okay doing all the time?
Was not reprimanded for it.
Oh, of course, she won't be reprimanded for it because her god's happy. Her god doesn't mind who they kill as long as they're men. That's the purview.
I also do take into the account we've majority of the time we've been on the back foot in every fight.
And Calvary isn't telling you off. She's trying to make it clear that she's actually really proud of you and she knows this is a confusing time. But because of her experience on the timelines, she feels that it's really pertinent that she pushes the point home to everyone here that you've got to be careful who you're killing, and that when you're in the moment of battle, like when arrows come over, stick a shield up first and figure out what's going on, and then, if you can confirm they're the bad guys, annihilate them by all means, but confirm they're bad guys first, is where she's coming from. She's not telling anyone off, she's not angry, she's just worried because, like Drazzle now, she has a a bigger picture view of how this is affecting the timelines, and she's kind of she's not in Drazel's position where she prophesizes things, but she knows that because she's personally screwed up, Drazel's had to change time, and timelines have shifted because of mistakes she's made, and she's trying to give you guys as much knowledge as she can to avoid making the same mistakes she's made. That's all she's trying to do. And she wants to keep you safe. She doesn't want you to die. She's not ready to let you go. Damn, if you live 800 years, you're going to be one of the few people surviving in her older age.
Okay, so, and just think it will be, Sal's lifespan is about 80 years at most.
Yeah, Zal's going to be the hardest for Calcrix unless you can find a way to prolong Zal's life.
No, well, Zal probably outlived me, but
Zal has the book, and he does have some relatives that can help.
Well, that's where reincarnation comes into it, because you can be beside yourself.
Okay.
Because you get a new body.
I was going to say, what's your lifespan like?
He's human. His lifespan is also roughly 80 years in total.
Oh.
Well, with all the other things going on, I don't expect to see anything like that.
And with all the wars, everyone's lifespan is not
I
particularly
was going to
long.
say, Calcrix is not sure she's going to survive.
Okay, so they're starting to prepare for the night's rest. Quite a few of the Vikings are getting tended to for arrow damage.
Fortunately, I have no healing skills whatsoever.
It's okay, Drazel is helping out.
What's the weather like?
The weather is quite windy, and there is probably a storm front coming in.
Okay, I was thinking of spending the night under the stars, but if it's going to rain, I don't want that.
Calcrix will do a performance to cheer people up.
Mm-hmm.
She will sing a couple of songs, and then she'll play a game with Eep in front of them, where she'll throw Eep different types of foods, pumpkins, apples, corn, and then Eep will change into them as she eats them. And also do a little bit of a disco show with her colour changing capabilities while she does that.
Well, you do notice that the effects of it is very similar to the effects of Chauvel's fireball.
How so?
When Eve consumes things, they sort of become desiccated and squishing upon themselves.
Okay.
Which is why we're throwing vegetables.
That is interesting. So I can actually see the remnants of them. Okay. It's exactly the same effect. Okay.
But it looks, to most people, it looks like, if you've got an audience watching, it looks like Calcrix throws the vegetable and it just disappears. They don't realise that it falls to the ground and it's desiccated.
Okay,
And
so we're
then-
seeing something that we've never seen before because it was always there, but we didn't know it was there.
You
Yeah.
never knew to look for it.
Whereas,
Okay.
and Calcrix hides the evidence.
And as Anton's just been looking at the results of a similar thing,
Mm.
you're realising that Eep's using the abilities that Chauvel's using.
Okay.
Dark place / entropy. Which is why Chauvel needs to learn her way through this.
Okay, so what would you like to do for your rest? You've been given a nice big tent to rest under so you can be out of the rain.
Yeah.
I feel it's a time that I need to talk to my gods.
Made from the sails of the boat. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
so it is good quality sailcloth. Want waste not, want none is the Viking way.
I can't think of anything.
Does the rest of the Vikings there sleeping outside, or are they under tents as well? Or?
Oh, they all have a tent for each boat, and the boat you're on is providing the sail cover for you guys.
Okay, cool.
So the crew's in a separate tent from us.
The crew's got the same tent.
Oh, we're all in the same tent. That's fine. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'll go back to sleep. Get up early.
I will find a quiet spot and talk to my gods, particularly Nyx.
I was trying to teach some of them how to play cards, so I might do that again, do a bit more of that. But just these are ordinary playing cards. These aren't Proshka's special cards.
Okay, so what's Yodri doing?
I'll join in the card game.
Okay. And how about Zal?
I don't know. I'll probably be watching Calcrix.
If you want to talk to me, you're welcome to come over.
Yeah, but I mean, if she spots Zal kind of like just contemplatively looking at you, and you motion me over, then I'll come over.
For me. Okay.
I will automatically. I think you prefer tea, so I'll make you a cup of tea.
Tea works. I like tea.
And I'll pull out some treats
But
from my bag.
better than coffee and way better than alcohol.
Well, we're about to go to sleep, so. And there are a couple of teas I know in my stock that you like, particularly ones from various temples that we've gone to, which you either follow or agree with. I think we got one from, is it Yamuga?
If it's my god, it'll be Yumugo.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I may not be remembering the name properly, but I've got a tea from their temple that I generally use with Sal. And we've got to get up early, so probably not a good time for coffee, even for a dragon with ADHD. She says, "Forgive my seriousness. Earlier, I never mean to impart lectures, but I always kind of end up doing so by accident. How are you doing?"
Zal, he'll say he's doing okay, but he has a few things that's going on as well. He'll explain what happened with when he used his mother's arrow for the first time in however many years.
Calix
Even though
will
he
actually
regularly
open
walks.
with, I understand you touched your mother's arrow for the first time. How was that for you?
She she basically told me off and it put me into a bit of like I don't know what you'd call it, like a sort of shock or stupor for a minute.
Your mother was a powerful and very respected magical person.
That is
the
true, but
forces-
she's getting, and Zol tries to explain that she's getting frustrated that I haven't taken her wish for vengeance on Cheval out, and it's been almost 10 years, and just sort of like foreboding warning that I have a year left to take action, and Zal is very torn on this because he doesn't really want to do that. Chauvel has proven, I think, over and again that they regret their actions. While that doesn't sort of placate a vengeful spirit, you know, as a human, I can understand that. I have regrets of my own.
Have you explored if there's other ways to seek her vengeance?
She basically told me no, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Martin. And I had not had the time to seek out another option.
Can you remind me how you came by your arrow? Your mother created it?
No, so the arrow is the golden arrow of Ethengar. So it is an Ethengarian heirloom item gifted from the Great Khan to me when we originally set off on our adventures. And
Please don't choke on
when we were in Galantry, when I met my mother's spirit, she basically inhabited the arrow because it was a Galantrian.
Perhaps maybe we could look into a way where we can move your mother to a more appropriate artifact.
Possibly, I guess Zol's concern is, and I don't know if this is player knowledge getting in the way of character knowledge, so Martin, please correct me if I'm wrong. Of her turning into like a cursed item. Like he doesn't want
if you don't use
her
the
spirit
arrow.
to become like evil, vengeful.
Is something like legend lore helpful in this situation?
Not really, because you just get the history.
But I do have one. I think I got a spell that I think can help with sorting or figuring out if there's a way to resolve this without killing Chauvel.
I'm sure you can find ways to banish or destroy the spirit in the arrow.
No, I without desecrating Zal's mother's spirit either. Calcrix will say...
That was more for Chauvel's interest.
Let me...
Chauvel is nowhere near this conversation, hopefully.
Calcrix says to you, let me look in my books. I think, I'm pretty sure, in amongst all of my books of knowledge, I might be able to at least help us explore how to avert that fate for both Chauvel and the mother's spirit. And if not, I have met people now who are able to help us find this knowledge. And
It is certainly, after the conversation from the other day, jumped up to the top of my priority list, as I didn't realize, with everything else going on, as you said, haven't had the chance to realize that this is a huge problem now.
You've dedicated and sacrificed so much of your life and time towards the saving of this realm. You have not had a chance to take care of your own personal needs, and they've become neglected, much as Chauvel hasn't had a chance to talk to her new patron, and Anton hasn't had enough time to understand his new weapons capabilities, and these are things that, despite the push and pressure of the gods upon us, that we may need to do in order to continue to participate in this quest to save this realm. You can't neglect your this is something that as much as the gods might find it irrelevant to their needs, it is very relevant to ours. So I think I was not aware that there was only a year left, and I think it does deserve priority. I can see why you are very much concerned by this.
And I guess the other thing that's gotten me down in the last day or so is while we didn't realize there were slaves on those ships, not that this is a justification, but if they had like gotten out of range and alerted the fleet, you know, a worse outcome per se.
This is where I blame
But it's
myself.
still saddened by the knowledge that you know, more innocent people were sort of hurt and killed.
This is where I blame myself. This is why I've acquired the spell of slow and the spell wall of force. Because both of these spells, had I been there, would have slowed those ships down long enough for us to investigate who was on those ships and to be more specific about the lives we decided to take and the lives we decided to free. But unfortunately, I'm drawn in many directions.
A good spell to take if you want to end a fight without doing any damage is Hypnotic Pattern.
Well, that's exactly it. So, I think one of
I think it's more not the fact that like Zala's also, because he's still, even though you are taking on a lot of burdens in this war, Zal still kind of sees Calcrix as sort of like his charge. Like he feels that you are taking on more than you should, sort of by yourself, and so like sort of, I don't know if it's tokenistic, but like at the same thing, like, you know, you said, like, you know, come to me for anything. While Zal might not be able to help quite so much as you're able to, still being able to, I guess, also lend an ear to the struggles you're going through as a emerging sort of greater dragon.
Well, to confess to things, I recently met some gemstone dragons, proper full-sized, fully grown gemstone dragons, 50 foot tall, with swords and hammers and axes, great enough for them to wield, and they were forging weapons for our side. They had decided to leave the Worm's Teeth Mountains, where the other dragons are, and take the side of humans like myself. And these dragons gave me knowledge that I can evolve from Calcrix into something much greater. And while I am not hesitating in this path that I want to take, I know that by the time I finish this path, I will not be Calcrix anymore. I may end up being a protector of worlds or galaxies. But it is a very long path, and I have many hundreds of years before I need to worry about that. But it does make me mindful that those people here who aren't here for as long a time, people that are good at heart like yourself, and like Dodri and Cheval and Anton, we sometimes find ourselves doing things we didn't even realise we could do. I had no idea that we would annihilate those poor dinosaurs that were just protecting their babies. And we all carry the burden of those mistakes. But you have such short lives. You don't get the time to get beyond those regrets. And if I can help you avoid and learn not to make those mistakes, to be able to make different decisions, if I can help empower you, so that you're not as burdened with those regrets, then you'll have a happier life, and that's what I want for you. I want you to have happy moments.
I mean, maybe it's a selfish human thing, because I am aware that you would live so much longer than I would. That at least while I'm alive, he would still sort of hope that he's considered at least as a sort of.
You will always be my father.
Well, that warms Zal a lot. That makes Zal pretty happy.
And when Calcrix says it, she'll change herself down to a tiny size and curl up in Zal's lap. Just like she did in the old days.
Nice.
Okay,
Just
so
like, see, I'm still a little dragon.
I'm still a little dragon. And Zal will just nod at that. Zal will just be like, sure.
and then when she falls asleep, boom.
Yeah. I'm getting crushed by a giant dragon.
I will not fall asleep on the poor human and crush her.
Okay, so while you're doing that, we have Chauvel out by the tree. What is Chauvel doing while everyone else is resting and getting ready for sleep?
Chauvel will probably fall asleep under the tree.
Okay.
I always thought you were going to talk to Madura.
But yes, I will pray to Majora first and then fall asleep under the tree.
Okay, so as you pray to Majura, you do find yourself standing on a grassy plain with Pegasi and warrior women around of note. Seems that wherever Majura is filled with powerful women, all warriors of note. And you are met by Majura, who looks more like a slave than she does a goddess.
That's interesting.
Well, she was enslaved as a mortal before she became a god.
Yeah.
So she has a lot of connections to slaves and slavery and hatred of it.
And freeing them.
Well, we're on the same page, then.
Did someone put a message up there? I just heard a sound like a messenger. That was all.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you're talking to her, you do feel the rain of the storm around you, but it doesn't feel cold.
Oh, rain.
Well, you feel nice and comfortable in the realm of Mystara while the storm's raging around you.
Yeah.
So she asks, what is it you seek?
Understanding.
Don't we all, she says.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be one of those conversations.
Understanding of why Majora chose Cheval and saved her from her other patron.
You were taken down a path you did not choose. So she offered you another way. You would have become a slave to Ixion had you continued the way you were going. And Ixion would have turned you against those you cared about. And that was not far away.
Yes.
Do you wish
Cheval-
do you wish she had not reached out to you?
No. Cheval is very appreciative of Majora's act in saving her beliefs, basically. She's just scared with the amount of power and the constant fighting that she doesn't always know where fighting is worse than what it is.
Well, you do have a connection to Nyx and the Fire Alamaster.
Yeah.
As you have connected with them, they will also influence your choices and actions.
So that's the entropy and the flames.
And some choices can't be undone, she says.
Look, 3 elements for you too.
I understand. Cheval feels really bad for ruining everyone's fun today.
That's okay. You didn't ruin her fun.
Yeah. Someone had a party.
And she is so grateful that you chose not to stay up to protect the elders overnight, while her servants come into the tent and exact some of their own vengeance.
Okay.
Into our tent?
Well, no one was on watch.
I thought we were all on a party.
You're all having a party, yes.
Oh, it's a keg hunt.
As there's a rain coming down, various gods have their own mischief.
Yeah, I know. The gods, as Jodri says, they be crazy.
They do.
So what happens to those of us in the tent?
Okay, so morning comes around, and there's cries of anguish around camp as some people were killed in their sleep. Only men, though.
In our tent?
None in your tent.
Okay.
And these were some of the older guys.
Okay. Is this a bit like the sacrifice travel on the seas again? Is it a bit like that?
Well, it sort of felt a bit random.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't understand this culture very well, so...
But there's no traces of anyone having entered or left camp. But it did have a thunderstorm overnight.
So what do the Vikings think happened?
Someone entered camp and bloodily killed quite a few people.
Without any of us noticing?
Well, no one set watch.
No one's at watch, okay.
They were having a...
Did Proska, did you notice anything?
Proska shrugs, holds up his cards.
He didn't, okay. Proska didn't see anything, okay.
I presume my passive perception would have missed it.
They didn't enter your tent because there was a dragon in there.
Yeah, well, fortunately I can't sleep in every tent. I presume Bahamut, who I'd asked to protect the Vikings, didn't come under didn't come to warn me or anything.
He didn't perceive them either.
Okay.
There was also a storm going.
Yes. That's okay.
They basically picked the perfect time to assault the camp.
Of course.
And of the there were 10 ships, so that would make it maybe 100 people. Probably about 20 of them were killed overnight.
Gee, that's a lot. That's a lot.
They've had a look. If they still want to do a beer run, geez, that's big.
If you say it out loud, then Bradshaw would intervene, saying beer is very important.
When the deaths become discovered,
and you do notice it was only on the ships that had male captains.
Okay.
So not the one that the Freya amulet captain, I can't remember her name. I just remember she had a Freya amulet.
Yeah, I wrote down a name. Ship's cabin.
Yeah, but I'm starting to fall asleep. So.
All good, Ross. You head off to sleep if you need to.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've had a big day. I'm glad to hear that everything's going well.
So it is. He done the protector.
He done. Okay, the protector.
Yeah. So I'll probably see you on Tuesday.
We shall see you on Tuesday. We look forward to it.
Okay. Catch you later.
Bye bye.
See ya.
So the actual encounter was called Slaughter in the Night.
Okay. And they did.
I will help them gather their dead and.
What's the feeling when they camp now that we
Lay
go
them to
home?
rest.
A lot of them are very down, but going home is not an option.
Not an option.
Not unless they succeed, because they would not be considered warriors anymore.
Okay. So look, start asking some questions. What do you have to do to be considered a warrior?
They have to succeed on their raid.
Okay. And you have to do it yourself.
Technically, yes.
And so our role is just to watch.
To assist, but not do for them.
Non-lethal assistance.
Minimal assistance, is that what it means?
Not killing for us.
Okay.
Non-lethal assistance.
Alright, okay. There's not a lot I can do that doesn't involve killing, but okay, I get the idea. Help, but don't kill. Right, fine. That I can do.
In the morning, Caprix is going to give Cheval a little wooden Pegasus to commemorate her change. And she'll apologise. She didn't have time to do anything with gemstones.
Okay, so come morning, you do see a cavalry coming down the hillside.
Okay, how do the others react?
They are confused because they don't recognize them as shines a bright purple and blue light from them as they're coming down the hill.
Do we, a perception if necessary, or culture or something, do we recognise who are these people?
Religion, right?
Oh God,
Religion?
okay, someone else do it. I've got no
Oh, let's all do it and see who fails.
I'll fail by a huge margin.
I was going to say, we've got a cleric in the party, so I'm hoping...
Why is no one looking at the cleric?
I was just saying it, we've got a cleric in
A
the party.
total of 10, I think there may be religion involved.
I hope he's doing
Only
it.
for Bradshaw, by the way, Martin.
3 from Bradshaw?
20.
20. 20 is pretty good for Bradshaw.
And Bradshaw's pretty happy with that, trust me.
So that's...
I think there's religion involved.
Religion...
It's normally an intelligence check.
Ooh, but I have proficiency in it, which is what I needed to check, so that is 25.
Ooh!
Non-natural 20 for Zol.
Okay.
You mean I could possibly know more about this religion than you do?
Probably. I mean, I rolled a 12, which isn't exactly great.
Ow, ow.
Okay,
That's
so the Bradshaw does get a boost because they are using Norse runes, which he had a lot of interactions with as a early adventuring.
So we spent a bit of time in Norway.
But he in particular in his younger days was actually travelling amongst them. as
Yes,
part
I
of the dwarven upbringing.
Well,
And you do recognize the symbology of Frey and Freya.
oh, okay.
Basically, considered gods of good people, not
Yep.
those who come to save others,
Not bad
Home
guys.
and half.
which would have helped in the middle of the night if they had to come during that time. But you assume that they're here to help.
If I may, can I walk out forward and greet them, I think, when I see them coming
You
down?
can, and Zal does recognize them as benevolent apparitions. Hard to actually tell where they're from because they're not part of his culture.
I would turn.
Though he has actually spent time here as well. Whereas Cal Creeks does also recognize, like Bradshaw, that they are Frey and Freya, who generally are known as protector gods of the humans.
I will turn to Idun, the protector, who's wearing the amulet of Freya, and say, "Do you recognize these people? From my knowledge, they follow Freya, according to the signs and symbols I'm seeing."
She does say they look to her like they are the equivalent of Valkyries for Freya.
I expect that they're here to aid us. Would you like us to accompany you while you greet them?
She does agree, but suggests that no one have their hands on weapons.
No one will have their hands on weapons. Kalkrick says really loud.
Okay.
No, that wasn't going to do it. I just greet them as servants of Freya. Knights, I'm going to call them because I don't know any different.
Well, because this is the Vikings' kind of mission, I'm kind of letting Freya make the decisions and the approaches.
The worshipper of Freya.
Yeah, the worshipper of Freya. Sorry, Idun. Idun, the protector, I think.
That's what I
Gary
just.
said.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of letting her take the lead because we poured rain on their parade, very literally, and I want to avoid doing more of that. So
Yeah, I was happy to join her by her side if she'd like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea that you're with her, but letting her take the lead might be worth doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so as the riders are coming close, the lead rider dismounts, and you see a what you only perceive as a lady just by her bearing. Has chestnut hair, green eyes that make you feel of the woods. Distinct cheekbones and jawline make her quite, let's say, quite characteristic. Hard to tell that she's beautiful, but she looks elegant in silver-colored robes. She says, "I am Helga. Welcome to our land. We were in the middle of a prayer for lost and alone ones when we heard your anguish."
And when she says your anguish, does she mean the people in the other Vikings?
She gestures towards the whole camp.
The Vikings that lost 20 odd or more of their encampment,
Which is the entire ship.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot. Presumably where they're getting a lot of practice with burial details. Ceremonies, funeral rites.
Normally it's the burning.
Okay.
There's going to be a few.
Because that leaves behind no undead.
Yeah, okay.
Not
that I can help at all with that, but
I'm making it a player statement that my character, in her dark moments, might have made a joke about Cheval being able to set a fire and, help with the pyre lighting, but I'm pretty sure that would not be received well under current circumstances. Nor would eat pulling out marshmallows on a stick, so that's not happening either.
Perhaps I'll let the ship captain or the female ship captain talk first.
Yep.
If she does, I'll speak up, mention what happened.
Well, the ship captain asks humbly for a prayer from the priestess.
For their fallen ones.
She recognizes Helga as a priestess. And so Helga calls out, meaning that all of you who would have been injured have your injuries healed. While she chants out, "Oh, my dear lady, we salute thee with our most sincere and desperate thoughts. I cry for the lost and alone. May you bless them and give them a path. Shine through them as you once did for me. Put them under your protection, for thou art the keeper of the wanderers of these woods. Make the destiny of your forest visitors shiny and bright as you showed me what awaits them. Give your blessing to them. They are your guests, since everything in this sacred temple is yours. When it comes to our foes, we'll make our blades phantom and keen, so that we shall honor you. May thy name be last thing we hear, and take us, your humble followers, to thee." And everyone feels refreshed.
Okay. We've had a long rest, so.
Oh,
And you do notice that
doesn't mean that we felt good though.
no.
You do notice that the other Vikings feel a little more upbeat afterwards, as a lot of the depression of the loss seems to have gone away.
Okay.
And they seem excited to carry on.
I will offer the priestess a small token in thanks to the Lady Freya.
She thanks you, and she says she's glad to see that you all seem to be feeling better as a group. Welcome again, friends. I sense you have many questions yet to be answered. Allow me to share my visions that our beloved Spirit Lady has shown me. After that, I would answer any further questions if my little knowledge comprehends them. In my visions there was some evil lurking beneath the mountain, a cult if you will. They mine a fang, yet it is not a fang of mortals. It belongs to he who dwells in the marshes, who will break his chains when Ragnarok comes. These wolf-spawn forge weapons from Fenrir's teeth and share them with the frost arrows. I suppose you were encountered along the way several times with their arrows. The lady shows me that you are in grave danger and commanded me to save your lives, which I wasn't able to be fully successful. Now she asks that you destroy this fang of evil with her help, or we will face a massive calamity.
Destruction we're good at.
Her mistress had told her so.
I bet she did.
Well, yeah, we've demonstrated anything. Destroying things is something we can do. Or at least killing things is something we can do.
She added that you will be granted a treasure worthy of your quest. I will give you more detailed information later.
So what is this great evil we destroyed?
Followers of Fenrir.
Yep.
Followers of Fenrir.
You have already faced some of them, and
So Fenrir is a wolf of Norse mythology, a giant wolf. I think it's ridden by or owned by Hel.
Hela, yeah,
Hela.
we fought the dude who was a mortal back before we left.
Yeah.
Was a follower of Fenrir. Calcris wasn't there, but Zol will explain that later.
Yeah.
And they're offering to give people a ride to shorten their journey and place to rest for the night if they're willing to accompany them.
Willing.
Sounds reasonable. Wolf-like.
You can ride him, my son. Haven't fallen out of it yet.
Though you do see that their horses seem to be made of light.
I would ride a light horse. It's, you don't
Yeah,
have
and
a
yet it
chin-
feels solid to the touch.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to fall off that horse, but it's going to be amazing.
That's very likely
I'll
accept this
ask-
because he has no mount at the moment. So
With some
yes.
trepidation, yeah.
They'll ask the priestess. Did you say her name was Helen?
Hella.
Helga.
Helga. Sorry.
Oh, Helga.
Someone said Hella, and my brain went. That was the word.
Yeah,
but
that
it's
one.
Helga.
Helga. Okay.
In the great Viking tradition.
Yeah. I was about to say Hela as well, and I'm like, no, that's the evil god, not the right one.
Yeah.
Helga. Zal asks Helga if their celestial mount, or if their light mounts are celestial and or speak celestial, as he has a celestial horse, physical horse, that he often communes with. And it would be nice to talk to a animal or a spirit of an animal, because he hasn't had a chance to in this adventure. So,
Okay,
on this Viking ships.
You realize that the horses aren't particularly animals. They are literally former servants of Frey and Freya, given life for a brief time to serve those still living.
But they're not spirits technically either. Then. Oh, I mean they are spirits, but not conscious one.
Well, they basically get to fill the world for a while, but they don't really have much more than basic ability to communicate, even with magic, because they're not a beast, but they're not people either.
Well, I mean, like, if they knew or understood Celestial, Zal tries where he can to, I guess, speak in the language of the people he's talking to. And he knows a lot of languages.
Really needs to talk to some animals.
They do have some basic understanding, and you feel some connection to them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, it's a connection. So.
It is a connection.
Calbrix is totally considering turning into a human form, or an elf form more particularly, just so she can ride one of these horses.
Lady Hella says you're welcome to, even though you never said the words.
For the first time, most of this group see Calbrix changes form into an elf with white hair and or silver hair more precisely, with black streaks in it and some blue strands as well. And she has very pale, almost white skin, but she has bright blue eyes, so blue it's hard to look at them. And she will gratefully take a seat on one of the horses. And she will give it a pat and say thanks and climb aboard.
Okay.
And try not to fall off while doing so, because this body is awkward.
Okay, you do find that you can all sit astride the horses perfectly, no matter how much skill you have.
Can I see if I can sit on next to Helga on her horse? Or?
You can, yes.
Okay, that's all. She just reminds me of something, that's all.
And considering it is 10:30, unfortunately we haven't run as long as we normally would, so we started a little late,
yeah.
and some of us are falling asleep.
Sorry.
No
No
apologies.
Ross was falling asleep too.
Ross fell asleep and left.
Yeah.
So
And we're grateful you made it.
we're grateful that people made it at all. So the session will end with her riding you off up the side of the beach into the woods on the edge of the beach and deeper into the woods.
In the sunset.
Going to fight this new foe.
Well, spend a day travelling through the woods where they will rest up at night, and in the morning next session she will tell you of the quest.
Okay. Alright.
And you each will gain a extra enchantment on your weapons as a blessing of Frey and Freya.
I was thinking it would be something along those lines. I was tempted to say I don't need a treasure as such, but I figured I would wait, because if it's a blessing, well then a blessing is a different kind of... Calcrix doesn't need a monetary reward, but she'll certainly accept a blessing. Do you guys want a light-hearted scene before we close out? It'll take like a minute.
We can do that.
So, while we're sitting down resting, Calcrix sits across from Eep, puts Eep on like a cut-off log, but it's perpendicular like a pedestal. And then she holds up a red flashcard. And then she holds up a smiley face. And goes, hmm? And Eep goes, mm-mm. She puts down the smiley face and she picks up a sad face. And goes, mm-hmm. And Eep goes, mm-mm. So she puts down the sad face and she picks up a surprise face. And goes, mm-hmm. And Eep goes, aha! And she goes, right. She puts the red card into a scale together with the surprise face. She pulls out a green card. And then she picks up a smiley face. And goes, hmm? And they continue like that for about another hour. Well, Calcrix tries to figure out which colours in which shades and which gradients mean which emotion that Eep is feeling, so that she can understand Eep.
Because Eep mainly speaks in colour and shape.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless Eep eats enough that can actually speak, and then it can use whatever it eats. Which is why it can speak the words of a puppet at 8. Because it had two magical words, two magical phrases it would say. And it can now say those.
It did pick up a few others though.
It has,
I
but
think
it's
it picked
also
up
eaten.
something from Cheval.
And it has also picked up something from the demon at 8.
I think what it picked up from Cheval was something along the lines of Mistress of Fire? Mistress of the Flame?
Quite possibly.
I can't remember. I have to go back to the session. It was funny when it happened. And of course, she would learn from Cheval before she learns from anyone else.
Well, of course, Chevelle was the person that allowed Eep to cook marshmallows.
Yep. Little did Chevelle realise, allowing that indignity to happen has given her influence.
Okay, so did anyone want to add anything further before you go to end credits? Okay.
I think I'm good.
End credits it is.